Malcador the Sigillite, also known as the Regent of Terror, was the second most powerful human both politically and psychically within the Imperium during the days of the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. He was the Emperor's dearest friend and closest confidant, as well as being the man who would eventually lay the foundations for both the Grey Knights and the Inquisition. Malcador was always seen as a man who was more personable than the Emperor of mankind. While the Emperor bore the presence of a kingly god incarnate, Malcador by comparison was more human, being known for his dry wit and even the odd snide remark or two, in contrast to the Emperor's own demeanour, but still retained an air of immense authority and respect. During the events of the Horus Heresy, the Primarch Magnus the Red would damage the Emperor's Webway project and open up a warp rift upon Terra itself. The Emperor would spend most of the conflict upon the Golden Throne, in order to keep this tear from destroying Terra and the entire Sol system. During the final hours of the Heresy, it was Malcador who tended to the Golden Throne to keep its energies under control. The Emperor, alongside his sons Sanguinius and Rogel Dawn, and a force of Astartes and Custodians, teleported aboard the Vengeful Spirit, the flagship of the arch-traitor, Horus Lupercal, to end the conflict once and for all. When Rogel Dawn would return to the Imperial Palace with the broken and mortally wounded form of the Emperor, Malcador was found to have given his life to keep the immense energies of the Golden Throne from overwhelming Terra completely. Some claim that his body was little more than a charred ashen corpse, while others state that Malcador, while still barely clinging to life, would speak his last words to the Emperor before dying. Whatever the truth, before he would lapse into his undisturbed silence, the Emperor would decree that Malcador would be known thereafter as Malcador the Hero. But following the Emperor's internment into the Golden Throne itself, various entities would begin to manifest within I-space, the areas where real space and the warp overlap, and even within the warp itself. Some of these entities would become known simply as Fire Angels, which would march and wage war across the Radiant Worlds. These worlds are those within I-space that are enveloped by the light of the Astronomicon, which itself causes intense agony to many warp-born entities. One of the most significant of these entities, as documented within the novel Talon of Horus, was the being known as Imperious, or the Solar Priest.
I am what remains of the Song of Salvation. I stare into eternity and witness the dance of demons. I sing forever into the endless night, adding my melody into the great game. I am Imperious, the avatar of the Astronomicon.
Now, how Imperious itself came into being is unknown. But could it be possible that Imperious himself is the immortal form of Malcador, now reborn as the first demon prince of the Emperor? Considering that Malcador was the closest and quite possibly the only true friend of the Emperor, and taking into account the Emperor's own godlike powers, it seems likely that the Emperor would wish to honour his friend's sacrifice by ascending him to Daemonhood, and therefore granting him a form of immortality as a result. Both Malcador and Imperious are described as being physically frail in appearance, yet were incredibly powerful psychic entities. However, it is admittedly rare for a demon prince to retain all but the most superficial traits from their mortal lives. But upon Imperious's face was an ornate golden mask, which seems to represent the agony and suffering that Malcador must have underwent whilst upon the Golden Throne. This mask is described as being wrenched into a rictus of crying torment, a death scream immortalized in metal. This description does indeed help tie into the possibility that Imperious could indeed be the immortal demonic form of Malcador. This is also supported by the fact that certain demon princes do indeed take on an appearance that is representative of the beginning of their ascension. For example, when the Emperor's children Primarch Fulgrim ascended into becoming a demon prince of Slaanesh, Fulgrim's new demonic form took an appearance similar to that of the Slaanesh-worshipping Xenos species known as the Lair. It was upon their homeworld of Laeron during the events of the Great Crusade where Fulgrim's downfall and chaotic corruption would begin, after claiming ownership of and falling under the influence of the demonically possessed Lair Blade. As we can see, both the Lair and Fulgrim's demonic form both share the same serpentine lower body and the multiple sets of arms, although Fulgrim's form admittedly has the addition of large wings sprouting from his spine. It's also important to note that while many demon princes are born from a bargain made with their patron god, or similarly seek to achieve apotheosis in an active way, such as by sacrificing millions in their god's name, or by overcoming tasks and obstacles set by their patron, there do exist demon princes whose ascension to demonhood was more unexpected. In fact, there are many individuals who were rewarded with demonhood without these specific individuals deliberately searching for such a boon. One such example is detailed within the novel Warden of the Blade, with General Vendran Glass. Vendran was the daughter of the planetary governor Otto Glass, and commander of the Imperial Defense Forces upon the world of Sandava II. The world suffered from an immense demonic outbreak caused by the Keeper of Secrets, known as Menesalath. Vendran would lead the world's planetary defense forces into battle numerous times against Menesalath's hordes, alongside a force of Grey Knights which included Castellan Garen Crow. Towards the end of the conflict, Vendran Glass would continue to battle against the demonic hordes, despite being the only survivor of her platoon before she was crushed to death by falling masonry. However, due to the pleasure she felt by destroying numerous demonic creatures and their fanatical followers during the course of the conflict, Vendran would be reborn as a demon prince of Slaanesh, now named Varangalax. Varangalax was enraged that Crow and his Grey Knights destroyed her world and her people instead of saving them, and would battle Crow before being banished back into the warp. As this example shows, Malcador could have indeed ascended into demonhood even if he did not actively seek it out. But if for whatever reason Malcador himself is not Imperious, there is still the chance that his death may have still given life to the Solar Priest. There have been many cases throughout the course of history where certain events have given rise to unique demonic creatures. One example is that of the demon Draknien. Draknien is an incredibly powerful demon created from the act of the first murder within human history, heralded by the screams of both the murderer and its victim, and would eventually take the form of a sword wielded by Abaddon the Despoiler. Another example is that of the greater demon known as the Ragged Knight. The Ragged Knight is an ancient and incredibly powerful bloodthirster of Khorne that was born as a result of the massacre of Bezier during the 13th century of Ancient Terror. It seems reasonable to assume that given Malcador's death and the intense psychic shockwave that such a powerful entity's death would cause within the warp, could indeed give birth to a demonic entity as a result. What do you think? Could Malcador have been reborn as a demon prince? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.